Rambo, behind you!
Photon, the ultimate
New Centurion.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of That New Toy Smell. I'm your host, Pixel Dan, and joining me today as my co-host is Dirt. How you doing, Dirt?
We're doing this now?
Yeah, we're filming now.
You know, I bought this this mask at Walmart. It cost me 50 cents. It's fantastic. Look at that. And it's spot on.
Is it a Casey Jones mask? What? That's what Casey Jones.
Anyway.
So what's going on, everybody? It's actually, we threw out the episode a day early because it's one of Dirt's favorite holidays. It's Friday the 13th?
Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th.
Yeah, and earlier this year we had another Friday the 13th. We looked at some Friday the 13th toys, and people went, oh, that's awesome. You got to do more. And we ran out of time because we had so many toys to look through back then. So we decided there's another Friday the 13th this year. We're going to do another Friday the 13th episode.
Why not do another one?
Because we got more figures to talk about.
That's right. But before we get into Dirt's review of the Friday the 13th figures today, we want to go ahead and get into our toy news category. And there's been a lot of actual...
Wait, toy news category?
Toy news category.
Since when do we do toy news?
Now, come on. You were hollering at me and killing last week while we were doing our show. You know about the format.
Yeah, but I was drunk, man. I don't remember anything of that.
I think the only one that probably doesn't know we changed our format is Duvall. Because where's Duvall?
Well, his computer was broken.
Duvall's computer's broken?
And you dropped your microphone.
Dropped my... Testing microphone. We still good.
See, this is what you get on our budget. So we had the leftover East German scientists come in and wire us up with mics, and you see what happens. So,
leftover East German scientists.
They're the ones that couldn't get jobs making video games for EA.
So they came and did our microphones.
So they're doing our electronics, and you see how well that works.
They work for peanuts.
No offense to the East Germans
literally.
out there. Still trying to survive.
Anyway, so, toy news. There's been a lot of topics this week, and I just thought there was a couple that I wanted to bring up on the show that we've already discussed on the It Figures podcast.
Did I do that last week too?
No,
okay,
you were not on the podcast.
Okay.
Nope.
Okay.
But one of the topics I wanted to bring up was Hasbro's announcement that they are bringing back Micronauts.
Oh, really?
Micronauts. Now that was a toy line in the late 70s.
No, wait. Are they bringing them back like the Microman figures, or like the Micronauts with the magnets and stuff?
You know, that's the thing, is they really haven't released a lot of details on it yet.
Well, what do the pictures look like?
They haven't shown pictures.
Well, what are the prototypes?
There's been no prototypes yet, and they probably have them. They just haven't shown them to us.
So we're working off a press release here.
We're working off a press release, and the press release basically just says, "Hey, we're Hasbro. We're bringing Micronauts back to retail," and then went into a description about what Micronauts used to be. I have no idea what they're actually doing, just that they're doing them.
Well, hopefully it's a more successful relaunch than the last relaunch they tried with Micronauts.
The last one, that's right, because I think, was it Palisades Toys?
Yeah,
one of those little companies that I don't think is even around anymore.
I don't think so.
They brought the Micronauts back 7 years ago. It's been a while.
That, yeah.
And they were basically just supposed to be copies of the originals, but they were not good.
they were not very high quality.
They were so fragile.
The magnetic pieces that were supposed to, because magnets have this. Let's call Dr. Science. Can we get a small thing about? Well, because if you've ever seen magnets, they kind of attach to each other. Well, these were the magnets that were apparently just metal. Because you'd put the two magnets together and you got nothing.
Nothing.
They didn't attach, they didn't repel, they were just, hey, look, he's got a metal knee.
Not to mention, they just broke. Like some of those boxes, seriously, I would open these toys up, I'd pull them out of the boxes, and they would be in pieces in the boxes. You wouldn't even get a chance to pull the thing out, and Baron, what was that guy's name? Baron, whoever, his arm would just be dead. It would be off. You'd have pieces off. They wouldn't attach like they were supposed to. The plastic was so brittle and so fragile that you would be like, oh look, he's posable right.
You're telling this story, and I'm looking at your hands like you have one in your hands. Well, like I'm looking down, like, oh yeah.
You can picture it. Yeah. You can picture it. You remember him. We tried.
I think I was sober for part of that period. So I can kind of recall that.
I'm curious to see what Hasbro's going to do with it, because, Takara still runs the Microman line.
Yeah, and Microman figures are still coming out.
Still all the time. Awesome. And they're very awesome. And I know that Microman is kind of like, I don't know if was it a spin-off of Micronauts or the same, like they changed the name. But
they give you a booklet with the history, but it's all in Japanese, which is
because
difficult for...
Takara releases them in Japan.
Since I don't read Japanese.
But Microman is still going to this day, and I mean, they're even doing, like
Batman figures, Batman Begins, and Dark Knight type stuff.
And then they got their own stuff, too, and it's awesome.
Superman Returns, they have a bunch of Superman
that's right. The Street Fighter ones, I even talked about those.
Did they do Pirates of the Caribbean?
I don't know if they did Pirates, but...
Lots of movie tie-ins and hot properties, and they're awesome. They've got 39 points of articulation.
Yeah, they're very posable. They always come with multiple interchangeable hands
and heads,
all that. I mean, they're amazing toys. So I mean, I'm real curious to see what Hasbro's planning on doing. Are they going to do that exact same thing? Because Hasbro and Takara do kind of do that hand-in-hand thing anyway. Like they do it with the Transformers. Does that mean that's what they're just going to do with this? Are they just going to release Takara's Microman in the States under the Hasbro banner?
Well, maybe they'll do like they did with Transformers and take some out of this toy line and some out of this toy line that have nothing in common and combine
mash them together into one line.
That's why you have transforming trucks and cars and transforming tape players and microscopes.
That's right. That's right. So yeah, I mean that's just something I'm curious about. I wanted to keep an eye on. Thought it was newsworthy, so we thought we'd bring it up because.
So is that the only news? Is that the only thing people are talking about?
No, it's not the only thing.
Wait, don't tell me there's some sort of He-Man Masters of the
There
Universe
is. We're going to do some more Masters of the Universe Classics news. It's
what
just
is the
so
Masters
easy.
Of the Universe show?
No kidding. We talk about it all the time, but it's because they're just constantly throwing things out.
Is it new battle armor?
No battle armor. Okay. This time Mattel has revealed their first in-package shots of Adora.
Oh, she's hot.
Adora, she's hot.
I mean, she was...
Now, this is the first time Adora has ever been released in figure form, so it's kind of a big deal.
That is a big deal.
They thought that this was one of those figures that we would never see because she was in the old cartoon, never had a figure in the old line. Nobody thought we'd have the rights to ever see an Adora figure, and then Mattel did some digging and found out that apparently they actually did create that design.
Did Mattel do the digging themselves?
I think so, or somebody helped them. I know Emiliano on He-Man Adora was doing a lot of help with that, looking back and showing them stuff like that. So I don't know if he was the one that found it, but either way, they found an old style guide that showed that Mattel owned that drawing or whatever, so they were able to produce this figure. So they're finally releasing this figure. They decided to release her before actually releasing a She-Ra because they thought it was a big deal. People have had a She-Ra figure before. They've never had Adora. So those pictures went online this week.
So expect the website to go down another
that's
order day.
Going to be a big sale. I guarantee it.
Sellouts and bad customer service for another.
Oh man, I'm dreading that. That's January, I think. January 15th. It's going to be a bad day. But, so it got released, and they're showing these prototype pictures, and personally, I think it's pretty sweet looking. The packaging's neat because they stuck, the Princess of Power logo on the blister bubble there.
But it's not a top.
Not up top.
Masters of the Universe Classics.
It still says Masters of the Universe Classics, but down on the bottom it says Princess of Power.
That's kind of shit.
Yeah.
Is the box pink at least?
No, it's not pink. It's the same Grayskull bricks. So they kept the design of the package
How
the
are you
same.
going to be able to embarrass guys who buy this figure if it's not in a pink box?
Well, I mean, I think that's kind of why they wanted to do it, though. There's guys.
Yeah, but for guys like me who pick on you and Duvall when you have these girl toys out there.
The only girl toys I buy are She-Ra. I promise.
Well, she's hot, so it's okay.
She's hot. She's okay.
She was my girlfriend when I was in 4th grade.
So a lot of people are already kind of okay, we know how nitpicky we can be as collectors sometimes. And
I mean, as long as they don't stick her in granny panties and give her thunder thighs, everything will be fine.
And the granny panties.
What?
People keep talking about her looking like she has granny panties. Because if we remember in the old... For real.
Huh.
If you remembered in the old cartoon, She-Ra kind of had that... what the superhero underwear thing going on, right?
Like a leotard.
Her hot pants that she wore. And on this new figure, the 4 Horsemen opted to go with a skirt similar to what Tila had, to preserve the articulation better and hide the joints a little better. Like, I think their big thing is they wanted to hide the joints.
Huh.
So they went with the skirt.
But aren't they blatant on the knee, though?
They're blatant on the knee, but I don't understand it either, because like I look at the DC Universe line and I'm like, well, right. Wonder Woman
Four
looks
Horsemen.
Fine.
Call me.
Yeah.
Let me know what's going on.
Yeah.
We have a voicemail line. Here, we'll put up the number.
Voicemail. Hey, there's our voicemail number.
Call this phone number. Let us know what's going on.
Yeah, we want to know what's up with that. Because, like, yeah, Wonder Woman, DC Universe. She wears the same kind of pants, and she looks fine. Why couldn't they have done the same thing with Adora?
Yeah,
she is hot.
But not as hot.
No, not as hot. So. But, so she's got the skirt thing. In a lot of shots, you can't tell it's a skirt, and literally does look like she's wearing big, baggy granny panties. So I can definitely see where people would probably complain. I think a lot of people don't realize it's a skirt, and they're just like, granny panties? That looks ridiculous. Why does she look like that? And then, of course, it's the prototype, and there's problems with, like, people think that she's cross-eyed, which I'm sure the real figure probably won't be, because it's never happened yet, but I don't know.
You never know.
You never know. And I can see why a figure like her is getting so much criticism, because it's such a big deal. So, but if you guys want to check that out, I believe He-Man.org has the photos up right now of the new Adora figure, as well as like Maddie Collector's Facebook page, stuff like that.
Is she the bonus figure in January?
No,
she's the subscription figure.
Is the first figure in the 2010 subscription.
Wow.
So she is part of the regular line.
Now, when is Green Goddess coming out?
Green Goddess is December. She's the bonus figure in December. And King Randor is the subscription figure.
So Tila was a bonus?
Tila was a subscription figure.
She was a subscription. Okay.
Uh-huh.
All right.
So, Green Goddess will be a bonus. Battle Armor He-Man is the bonus the same month that Adora comes out.
Nice. Oh, so we get
brother and sister. Yep. Battle Armor He-Man and Adora. You get brother and sister. 15th of January. So that's pretty sweet.
We need to get some eBay sniper software or something that'll just keep hammering that
there we go.
Until
our order gets through. And then we just got to hope Digital River doesn't, lose it or cancel it or whatever they're doing. Yeesh. All right. Okay, enough of toy news.
Okay.
I'm excited to see your video about the Friday the 13th stuff.
Why? They're never any good.
They are good.
I don't do good
You
videos.
make some of the best videos, especially when you're talking about things you love.
No, I don't.
Friday the 13th.
No.
Duvall's not here, right? Your videos are way better than Duvall's.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Way better than Duvall's.
All right. Oh, you're in trouble now?
I'm in trouble. Duvall won't even watch this. He doesn't watch his own. All right. So without further ado, let's check out Dirt's Friday the 13th review.
As a Friday the 13th fan and collector, I almost feel like Friday the 13th should be a national holiday. I mean, let's get rid of the other ones, like, I don't know, Veterans Day. What have veterans ever done for... Okay, bad example. But you know what I'm saying. I just love being a fan of Friday the 13th. And nowadays, it seems like there's more crap than ever to collect. I mean, I don't mean crap, I mean treasures. I mean, come on, stuff like this. Books, masks, even the movies are getting re-released on Blu-ray, and 3D treatments on DVD. How can you not be excited as a fan of Friday the 13th? I mean, there's so much stuff out there, and thanks to the remake movie, there's been a resurgence with tons and tons of collectibles hitting the market. Not only that, but as a collector like I am, I like to hunt down some of the stuff I may have missed over the years. Now, we did a special on Friday the 13th toys several months ago when the last Friday the 13th hit, and it was a pretty big hit with you guys out there. So we decided, another Friday the 13th, another look at some of the new additions to my collection. First of all, here's one that I missed a while back. This is the McFarlane Toys Movie Maniacs Series 5, Jason Voorhees from Jason X. Now, Jason X was the 10th movie in the franchise, and the last one that had Kane Hodder in the starring role. This figure is basically what you'd expect from a McFarlane Toys offering. There's a lot of nice detail. It's very well sculpted. It looks good from just about any angle. It's in a dynamic pose. It's very faithful to what you saw on the screen, and the articulation sucks. For instance, he's got this nice pose where it looks like he's getting ready to chop somebody apart, but what are you going to do with this arm if you don't want to have him in the middle of a chop? Just kind of hanging out there. He does come with this Jason X machete that he got off of the spaceship Grendel, And, he does look very nice. If you're going to put him up on your shelf and just leave him up there for people to look at, it's pretty cool. Now, the original Movie Maniacs characters had these huge frames that had the movie poster inside, and by the time they got to Series 5, they just had these little stands with this movie poster that sits on top. But the package is the clamshell you'd expect. The photo is actually the photo of the toy and not the movie, which may take you a moment to realize because of how well it actually is sculpted. All in all, it's a neat collector's piece, but again, the articulation sucks. Now, Cinema of Fear from Mezco has been doing a lot of Friday the 13th figures, and this is the Jason Goes to Hell Jason Voorhees. Jason Goes to Hell was the 9th movie, and this is the one that teased the Freddy vs. Jason movie for the first time. Now, Jason, as you can see, looks incredibly faithful to the way he looked in the movie, and this one, even though the legs are kind of trapped in their half-step style, he's got articulation in the waist and the neck and the arms, so he still can be moved around and posed a little bit differently. He comes with his bloody machete. He also comes with the dagger that finally kills him in the movie. There's also the demon version of Jason. As Jason's body is destroyed, the demon can move to the body of a relative and he can be resurrected. He also comes with the black heart that allows his essence to move to new bodies when his body has been destroyed. But taking a look at the figure, you can see that there's a lot of detail. The rips in the jeans might lead you to believe that it's a different layer, but it's not. The leg is one solid piece, and the rips and the skin underneath have all been sculpted together to look fantastic. All in all, I have to say that this is a great looking figure. Now, the final new one that I've gotten this year is this Friday the 13th Part 3 Jason Voorhees from the Cinema of Fear line. Now, this is actually the first movie where Jason got the hockey mask, and quite frankly, one of my favorite incarnations of the character. He's got the green shirt, and his legs are once again locked in that kind of half-step motion, but his arms have articulation in the elbows, in the shoulders, in the wrists. His head is fairly well articulated, and the head can even be popped off and replaced by this one that has the machete wound in it. He comes with the axe and the machete, and the severed arm of Fox, the female biker chick who tried to come to terrorize the kids at the cabin, but ended up being just another victim. Now here we can take a look at a handful of the Jason Voorhees figures that have been released over the years. Most of these are from Mezco's Cinema of Fear line. Friday the 13th Part 3 Jason, Friday the 13th Part 4 Jason, Friday the 13th Jason Goes to Hell Part 9 Jason, Jason X, the 10th movie Jason, and the remake version of Jason. You can see that pretty much no matter which movie in the franchise is your favorite, they've got a Jason to get you covered. Of course, the problem is, once again, most of these are collector's figures and not action figures. What's the difference? Well, for most of you, you're going to buy these and put them on your shelf, and they're going to look like this cool little Jason Voorhees you got just chilling next to your copy of, I don't know, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, or whatever you have sitting up there. For a guy like me, though, I have a tendency to take these out and, well, just play with them. They're toys, and I'm a pretty big kid. In fact, it looks like I've probably swallowed one or two in my day, but that's something we'll talk about on another day. I love taking out my toys and playing with them, posing them, making little voices, having them fight, and, to be honest, most of these are not really good for that. But since I'm a fan of Friday the 13th, I just gotta have them. It's kind of funny when I think back about 10 years ago. Trying to get Friday the 13th merchandise was like, I don't know, trying to find an honest politician. And yet nowadays you can't swing a dead cat without running into some kind of Friday the 13th lunchbox or keychain or what have you. But at least I know that there are some high quality toys out there that really do a good job of capturing the look and feel of Friday the 13th. And even if the remakes go away and the franchise stops and the movies dry up and disappear, I'll still be a gigantic fan of Friday the 13th. And if your little sister carves a Jason Voorhees out of a bar of soap, hey, you know what? I'll be more than happy to add it to my collection.
So is it recording now?
I think so.
Okay. You thought there were 2 Jasons. Here.
We got you good. We were scary.
And of course, these are the highly authentic. I believe this one was from Walgreens, and that was from Walmart.
They're expensive.
Yeah, in fact, this one was more expensive because it's got the foam pads.
Oh, it makes it a little more comfortable to
And
wear.
you can feel the plastic on that one's a little thicker. Feel this one.
Oh, this one's like paper.
But this one glows in the dark, just like Jason's real mask.
That one wins then.
Because, there's always that scene where he's walking through the forest and you see the lime green hockey mask passing by.
That's my favorite part.
Yeah. So these, I know these are retarded looking, but I see them every year, and it's like after Halloween when they're like 50 cents, 25 cents. I'm like, I just got to buy them.
Why wouldn't you?
To have them around.
Why wouldn't you?
Now this one, this is one I made in high school.
You made this?
So that, it came as one flat piece. There were no holes in it, and it had the strands, which are now stretched out. But
so it was just like one of those cheap masks, kind of.
Right, and I bought this was like 92, 93 when I bought this one, and I drilled the holes in it.
Nice.
So we had all the breathing holes in it.
Looks so
and then I put the mark from when he got chopped in the head with the machete. And then I sanded it. You can feel it, that I sanded it down to make it rough. And I actually, there's like an orange coat that's been kind of rubbed into it, and there's some brown specks. We put some blood in there. We put some scrapes on it, and then sprayed a little bit of gray fleck on it. So
nice.
This is me in high school with, I didn't have a car, didn't have anywhere to go, so I'd sit at home and do stuff like this until someone would call and be like, hey, you want to go somewhere? Yes. Get me out of the house.
That is...
my next step would have been to make a machete and start chopping people. So
that is really cool, though. That's
it. So, but you can see the elastic is
it's all stretched out, wore out.
But now,
that's really cool that you still have that, though.
If you want to go to the store and buy the cheap one, it's actually licensed. They have these.
Ooh, it's all rubbery, though.
Yeah, it's soft, but it does have the little black netting over the eye. This one is actually, if you bought this brand new at Walmart, it'd be $8.72. Of course, you buy it the day after Halloween, it's like, I don't know, $2, whatever.
Way better, yep.
Now, this one here, we'll jump to this one. This is the NECA prop replica.
From the new movie, right?
Right. This is from the remake, and they sold this at Toys R Us, probably Spencer Gifts, I don't know. You probably could, Entertainment Earth, you could probably order it. But it's heavy.
It is really heavy.
It's a nice quality. They basically took the one from the movie and made a mold from it, and then made these replicas on them. So
that's not a toy.
It is a toy.
It's a collectible.
It is a toy.
Read the box.
Where is it? What? Oh no!
Does it say this is not a toy?
Killing us right. This is not a toy. We should not have this on the show.
Oh no!
Get this out of here.
Well, it's Friday the 13th. Bad luck is bound to happen. Right? Now this one here, this is the expensive one. This is the one that's actually molded directly from one of the props in the movie. They made a straight mold off of this, and they use the same type straps. They use the same type decals and everything that they used in Part 3. So this is this could have doubled for one of the ones they used on the set in Part 3. This one was fairly expensive. So this is one of those collector's pieces that, my son doesn't get to play with this one. He can run around with these all he wants. And in fact, he does sometimes. It's kind of freaky. But this one he doesn't get to touch. This one's fairly nice, and you can feel that. Again,
is this one a toy?
That one's a tough. No.
This one's not a toy.
But that's another hard quality one.
It's lighter than that one, but it is still. Yeah, it is still.
It'll stop a hockey puck. So
sweet.
Now, of course, other collectibles like this little guy. Duvall brought this back for me from a Toy Man show. Apparently, it was his idea all along to get this for me because he thought that I really liked Friday the 13th. So Duvall did it all by himself and got that for me. And you can find stuff like this at Walgreens and Spencer's. And they have shot glasses and whatever. Now this, take a look at that thing. Now that's a bobblehead.
Bobblehead.
And I bought it because it's Friday the 13th. And I collect Friday the 13th stuff, so I had to have it. But it's a bobblehead.
That's all it does.
Yeah. That's the action feature. So if you're into bobbleheads, you like collecting bobbleheads, that's a great thing to have. But
the knife comes out of his hand. The machete comes out.
Well, because it's packed in styrofoam.
Got it.
Buy 'em, so.
I have to admit that I do not like the hair on this style, this new style Jason. But that's stupid.
Well, whatever.
The details are kind of nice, though.
It is well crafted, and you
Well-
can see underneath the mask they did a pretty good amount
Like,
of
his
effects.
face is actually sculpted, even though the mask doesn't come off, so...
But these
Sweet.
here, these are the main thrust of the video that you saw. These were the figures. We have 2 Cinema of Fear figures, and we have 1 from McFarlane Toys. So this is Jason Goes to Hell. This is from Friday the 13th Part 3, and this is from Jason X, the 10th Friday the 13th movie. So, it's kind of funny, because you go from one company to another company, and yet they're really comparable.
They are very comparable.
You'd have a hard time telling if they were actually from different companies. The level of detailing is really good on them. But they all suffer from that articulation problem.
They're statues.
Yeah, I mean,
They're just
he's got
statues.
joints in the elbows, he's got joints in the arms. They've gotten a little bit better, but his legs are stuck.
Yeah, they don't. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Same with this one. The legs don't move. He just stands there.
And like this one, because he's in this pose, it's such a great pose, but it's like you can't really do a whole lot else with it. Oh, look, he's hanging with his arm out the window in the passenger seat of the car.
holding the machete.
Maybe he's reaching over, grabbing the wheel with this hand. Oh my God, are you drunk? I don't know. There's not a whole lot else you can do.
I guess they just assume that anybody buying Friday the 13th toys isn't actually going to play with them.
Which is the wrong assumption to make.
They're like, guys just want to buy these and set them up on their shelf.
But with the McFarlane toys, there was this with a movie poster and like a little stand. But with these from NECA, you actually got some neat accessories and additional things. So this is his head. Beginning of the movie, he gets the hockey mask. Well, about halfway through, he gets it, but later he takes damage. So they've got this replacement head that has the wound in his forehead there, so you can see where the machete went in there, and he's got the little bloody axe that goes along with it, and he's got the severed arm that you can actually impose him with.
You gotta love just severed arms.
When they throw in random body parts.
Severed body parts as an accessory. That is awesome.
And then of course the loose head by itself. I kind of want to buy a second one so I can have one of these like hanging from my rearview mirror.
Nice.
Something like that, Jason Goes to Hell. He comes with this is technically Jason. So if you saw Jason Goes to Hell, this is the little demon.
I actually have not seen that movie.
You've never?
So I've not seen that one. I'm sorry. Oh no. I'm sorry, Dirt. I'm sorry.
You're dead to me.
I'm dead to you.
But this is Jason, and when they kill his body, the idea is that this little guy can come out and move into one of his family members' corpses, and it reanimates the corpse, and he's born again as Jason. This is his evil black heart. If this comes, the coroner in the movie cuts this out of his chest, and then it starts pulsating, and he's somehow mesmerized by it, takes a big bite out of it, and he gets possessed by the spirit of Jason.
Nice.
So that's another way that Jason can keep coming back and moving around. And then this is the little dagger that they use to kill him. So this is how you actually kill Jason. The only problem is when you kill him with this, then you can still get this little guy to come out, or you can get this, whatever. But if you stab this far enough into him, then it opens the gates of hell. As we all know, opens the gates of hell and sucks him back down. So there's some of your Friday the 13th toys there.
It's fantastic.
And,
I think it's kind of amazing. Like when you stand them all next to each other, you can really see the difference in design, like character design between the movies.
Yeah, and
what I mean?
It's funny because he's one of those characters like, James Bond. They've had so many different actors as James Bond.
Right.
Batman. They've had different suits, different guys in the suits. But with Jason, it's like every time they had a new movie, someone's like, okay, he's got to be wearing some kind of funky shirt and outdoor pants and a hockey mask. But beyond that, everybody did him a little differently.
Yeah.
So like especially here, by the time you get to Jason Goes to Hell, they have the mask like inset into his face, like the skin is growing around on top of the mask. And things like that. So, and he does get beat up as he goes along. Like here he is early on in his killing career. Shirt's still in pretty good shape and everything, but he doesn't do a whole lot of laundry by the time Jason Goes to Hell comes around.
Jason doesn't do laundry?
And his mom's dead, so she's not there to mend his clothes anymore. She can't iron on the patch on the knee on his jeans like moms do. So.
And then sometimes he gets cyborged.
Yes. And then sometimes just crazy stuff happens. And And it's so crazy, they just kind of forget about it and move the franchise in new directions.
I don't care what anybody says. I like that movie.
This movie was hilarious.
I think it's
love this
fantastic.
movie.
Yeah, it's so much fun. That's all I care about.
But anyway, oddly enough, these two were played by the same actor. Oh, yeah. Keep in mind, Kane Hodder. He was Jason in 7, 8, 9, and 10.
Nice.
So, one guy.
And was he the one in the Freddy vs. Jason?
No, they went with a different guy.
Different guy.
They went with a taller guy for that one.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Cool. Well, anyway. I love it, man. There's so many cool like horror collectibles and stuff, and like that's never really been my shtick. You know, I don't do a lot of these stuff, but I know there are so many horror fans out there, and I know you're a big horror fan.
I was pulling these out to bring them here. My wife just gave me that look like, how much money have you spent on this stuff? It was all free, honey.
All of it.
These are review samples that they sent us. I didn't pay a dime.
Years and years ago.
Actually, this is from McFarlane Toys. This one's like from 2002.
Yeah.
I think so. This one is fairly old, whereas I think this one just came out this year. This was part of a pack they did with. There was Freddy in a chef's hat. There's one of his victims with the roach arms.
Yes.
There's the hitchhiker.
Like the Cinema of Fear or whatever those things are
This
called.
is also a Cinema of Fear one.
Okay.
But this was like, I think last year's or the year before's model. So.
Sweet. Awesome.
So there you go.
Excellent. And there we have it. Friday the 13th on Friday the 13th. Mask is coming back on?
This one's too expensive.
Don't break that one.
Now this, I'll just do this one because it's so awesome because it still has the cardboard header on it. So.
Perfect. All right. Well, now that you're all ready to go, let's go ahead and move into this week's Fan Corner. This time we've got a bunch of questions.
Oh, we're doing that now?
We're going to do that now.
Tonight? Are we legally
Today,
allowed?
right here. Last week we showed you guys some fan art. This time we actually have a bunch of questions that members of our forum have sent to us to have answered right here on the show. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at some of those right now. And
so if you come to the website, as opposed to just watching on YouTube or whatever, there's more stuff.
That's right. Now don't think we don't look at your comments on YouTube. We do. We appreciate those. We appreciate the views. But if you want to interact with us more...
Except for the first guys.
Yeah. First post. Good job, guy. You were first.
Alright, what is the most any of you have ever spent on a single piece of your collection, and was it worth it?
Asked by Jobber. Our buddy Jobber. That is a tough question. And you wouldn't think that it would be a hard question, but like, here's my thing. I buy a lot of things. But I'm one of those people that does not, like, I can't actually get myself to spend large amounts of money on one piece for my collection. So anytime I see something that's like, oh, that is so awesome, oh my god, it's $500, I'll never have that. Because I will not put that kind of money down on something. So while I probably have tons and tons of money worth of stuff in my toy room, I don't have a really single big purchase. Now I do own...
What about the Computer Warrior stuff that you bought as a lot? How much was that?
I didn't really pay more than like $30 for that lot. I do own a bunch of like the Kotobukiya Star Wars statues, which are about $150 a piece statues, and those are super awesome. I didn't pay the full $100 for them. I got kind of a good deal on them.
Actually, you traded me for two of them, for the Han Solo and
the Han Solo and the Chewbacca. Yeah, so I mean, I guess if we want to look at things that are worth like the most or sell for the most, those statues I have are pretty high priced. That would probably be the most expensive things I have, because I've probably got 6 or 7 of those, and those sell for $150 a piece. So I've got a good, $1,000 worth of Kotobukiya statues right there. So.
I think for me, it's probably just buying lots on eBay. Bought a lot of a lot, not like a lot, but more than one item in the thing. And it was muscle figures, and they were in the boxes. They were the big trays that had like 40 figures a piece in the box.
Sweet.
And so I bought like a whole bunch of those because they weren't complete, but they had enough of them that I could mix and match between the different sets, whatever. So I just bought them as one big lot. And that was pretty... My wife was a little upset with me when she found out about that. But, for me, it was worth it. It was totally worth it.
Sometimes you just got to get in trouble.
It was just one of those things that's like...
Got your toys still.
It's like, once I had them in my hands, it was like, I haven't held these since 1983. You know what I mean? And I was just like, oh, this is so worth it,
Yeah, totally. I totally know.
And my wife forgave me. So that was the important part.
So it all worked out, and you got your toys in the end.
If she was still mad at me, I'd probably say it wasn't worth it. But because she was cool with it, she eventually came around.
Excellent.
So okay.
Excellent. All right, what's the what we got here next?
TF Joe wants to know, how big are your collections?
Like, what do you want, a measurement? Or I don't... This big?
That's the one that got away.
Oh, that's the one that got away.
That's the one that got away.
Big, I guess. Like, my thing is I don't have space for all my stuff, and I always have a hard time finding space for all my stuff. So right now I'm in like a small 2-bedroom apartment, and the second bedroom is completely dedicated to just all my video games and my toy collection and my wife's collection. So like, I got shelves on the walls, and I got figures hanging on the walls, and the whole room is packed full of stuff, but then I also have a closet full of totes of everything that I can't fit out.
Yeah,
so,
I was going to say, I've got a basement that was for my toys, was the idea when we moved in.
Right.
But there's so much stuff. It's boxes and boxes and boxes on top of boxes on top
Oh,
of
yeah,
boxes
yeah, yeah.
on top of boxes. Yep. And some of the boxes I've kind of sorted through and written on the side what it is, but some are just boxes full of stuff. And so every so often we have bookshelves in our living room. My wife's like, you can use these 2 shelves, and that's it.
Sweet.
So every so often it's like, okay, well, I'm taking down the Justice League figures, and I guess now I'm going to put up my Disco Skeletors. And,
Yeah.
you know,
See, I'm the
move
same
stuff
way.
in and out.
Like changing things in and out, because sometimes I'll just get so... I get to a point where I'm bored. You know, I walk in and I'm like, you know what? I've been looking at the same figures all this time.
Yeah,
I got a closet full of other stuff. It's time to switch
and
it
it's
out.
like you're rediscovering your toys.
Yeah.
You like open the box, you're like, oh, I forgot I had mask figures.
Yeah,
you know? Oh, right. So, you know, so that's how we work it. So, I mean, as big, who knows? It's
Yeah.
my collection with all the boxes is probably as big as your 2-bedroom apartment. Because my whole basement, you've seen my. Have you seen my basement?
I've been in your basement.
Okay, yeah. So you've seen how it's like
yeah.
boxes this tall.
Box, yep.
Like across the whole basement.
Absolutely.
So, if it was water, you would drown.
Drowning toys.
So think about that.
Like Scrooge McDuck. I want to just go home and
Dive
a vault
into my toys.
of toys and dive into it. That'd be sweet. So I guess this kind of actually leads into the next question, because Sick on the boards asked, asks, what do you have the most of in your collection? Star Wars.
Muscle.
Star Wars is mine. A probably close second would be Masters of the Universe, but Star Wars greatly outnumbers everything else that I own.
I can easily say muscle because they're so small.
Oh, yeah.
And I know I've got tons of them.
You know you've got tons of them.
And you guys always buy them for me when you're somewhere. You're
Yep,
like, oh,
absolutely.
we went to the show, we found muscle.
Muscle figures, and you've got, you know.
And I probably got them all 3 times over, but
You
I'll
don't
take
care.
more.
Yeah.
I'll take more, you know.
And that's kind of like with me, like Star Wars was kind of the thing that got me into collecting, so... Like in '95, when the Power of the Force figures first came back out, I was one of those guys that had to buy 2 of every figure. So I have a closet full of all my mint on card figures, and I have another tote of all those exact same figures out of their package. Plus, I've been buying ever since then. So yeah, Star Wars greatly outnumbers everything.
You need to buy pegboard for your second bedroom.
I do.
That would work.
That would work a lot better than what I've got.
Now, Sick also follows up by asking, will we get videos of your collections?
Now, I've been asked this a lot, and I guess my answer is yes,
because
you will.
That's what this show is.
That is true.
I mean, that's exactly what this show is.
We're
is
constantly,
videos of our collections.
We're constantly showing you bits and pieces of our collections when we're doing these reviews. I want to do a video sometime where I actually kind of do like a walkthrough of my collection. Like, you know, show off how I have everything displayed, everything like that. My problem is I'm not happy with it right now. Because I'm just in a little 2-bedroom apartment. It's all kind of crammed in there. It's
now,
not really...
Your first house...
Oh, man.
That basement, you had an awesome setup with your toys.
See, now, I'm hoping that within the next year or so...
And then that other apartment you had, Cresselwood, you had those built-in shelves.
I had built-in shelves on the walls.
So really, only this apartment actually sucks for your toys.
And I don't even want to say it sucks. It's just, it's a small bedroom. Everything's really crammed. It's not set up the way I would exactly want it to, so I'm not ready to show the world. You know what I mean? Hopefully in a year or so, I'll have a house, more space. I can set it up the way I want to. Then maybe I'll do a video showing you guys everything. I like how he's got his arm over.
We have one last question from Miss Piggy 209. Wants to know why Duvall is so sexy. I think it's the eyebrows.
I don't know why anybody would ask that question.
It's a valid question.
Could be the eyebrows. Maybe it's the giant beard.
He's a handsome-looking man.
Sometimes he's got that thing with that beard sometimes.
He's almost got that British look going on.
British, like he's British or something.
Like a golfer.
Like a golfer?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that's it.
Could be.
Is Miss Piggy
I don't know. We'll
a Muppet?
Anyway,
he likes dolls.
So there you go, guys. That's our show for today.
That is going to wrap up this week's episode of That New Toy Smell. So, hey, you guys want to ask us questions that haven't been answered on the show?
This is like a 45-minute episode of That New Toy Smell.
It's awesome. I love it.
This is going to be like 10 parts on YouTube.
10 parts on YouTube. Head on over to the site, guys, thatnewtoysmell.com. Click on the forum link. Post questions there. We'll answer them. Chat with everybody. It's a great place to check out. Plus, on top of episodes of That New Toy Smell, we've got the It Figures podcast every Wednesday and lots of toy reviews, so check it out. And then, of course, you can also head over to VGLosers.com, which is where Dirt hides out all the time. If you guys are into podcasts on pro wrestling.
We've got Wrestling Radio. We've got the Fantasy Football Sports Talk for guys who are into that. We've got The Weigh-In. That's an MMA podcast. We have a new column that just started last week, the Comics Corner.
Comic book column.
With Ryan Porter, so he's doing comics on there. We're working on another column. We're also working on another video series for comics. We're talking about a video game podcast that we're going to be doing with Killen here. We're talking about another video game video series coming with Killen. So everybody's chipping in. We're doing lots of crazy stuff. Scotty Cash is all over those sports podcasts. So if you're into that stuff, he's on that one too. So
excellent.
So doing lots of stuff, lots of stuff to check out. So make sure you come to our sites and get a look at some of that stuff.
That's right. And then always be sure to check out KillenEnterprises.com if you guys are interested in buying toys
stuff
or
you see hanging on the walls here.
Anything
this is
here.
His store.
That's right.
He sells this
We
stuff.
sell it all.
If
So
you want a copy of Left Behind Tribulation Force, grabbing one at random. You never know what you're going to grab at random.
Or Masters of the Universe Stactions.
Better yet.
Yes, here. KillenEnterprises.com. Check us out. And we'll be back next Saturday with an all-new episode of That New Toy Smell. So until then, I'm Pixel Dan.
And I'm going to watch The Lake House tonight because I'm dirt.
Take care, guys. Toy Talk!